Hello, how are you? Well, I hope. Right, this week I'm going to talk about two films that both centre around the death of a young adult and how those around them deal with it. They're both quite different films. The first one is a film by actress and poet Amber Tamblyn, and it's her debut feature film. It's called Paint It Black, and it's an adaptation of a Janet Fitch novel. The second film has been described as a millennial version of The Big Chill. It's called Burning Bodhi. It's written and directed by Matthew McDuffie, who is a screenwriter who's brought us scripts such as Surrender Dorothy and The Face of Love, and this film also marks his debut as a director. So Paint It Black is a messy, non-linear, gothic, moody and strangely compelling indie flick that examines how all-consuming grief can be. Like White Oleander, once again at the heart of Fitch's story is a trashy female protagonist, this time called Josie, played by Alia Shawkat. Josie works as an artist model, and at night she sort of immerses herself in the 80s punk rock scene. And unexpectedly she falls for a privileged piano-playing emo called Charlie, who commits suicide. The film isn't so much about Charlie though, it's more about Josie and her relationship with Charlie's reclusive, bitter mother and how they feud over the loss of their loved one. Look, it's dark, it's over-stylized, it's at times it's ambitious, it is sometimes it feels a little bit film schooly, and then the next minute it feels very mature and insightful. This is not a perfect debut, but it is one that definitely marks Tamblyn as a director to keep an eye out for. So Paint It Black screens on Saturday the 16th of June at 8:30 p.m. Right, so Burning Bodhi stars Big Bang Theory Kaylee Cuoco's. It's a coming-of-age story. It's set in New Mexico. It's about a group of high school friends who are reunited after one of their mates, one of their friends suddenly dies. And this is probably the complete opposite to Paint It Black. It is more mainstream, it's accessible, it's that typical mix of angst, regret, longing and avoidance that happens when you are brought face to face with people from your past that you've sort of lost touch with. Unlike The Big Chill though, there's a 21st century kind of touch here with conversations about mindfulness and gratitude. Well, at the end anyway. One of the characters actually makes the point that this is their first dead friend, and that going to this funeral is a little bit like a rite of passage. And yeah, it did make me stop and think of the first friend that I had lost when I was 17 and how differently everybody dealt with it. However, this is a film that will probably resonate more with a younger audience, young adults, and it screens on Friday the 15th of June at 8:30 p.m. And finally, I want to mention When God Sleeps. This is an intimate and moving documentary about the plight of Iranian musician Shayan Najafi, and he is a bit like the Rushdie of rap. So clerics have issued a fatwa against him, calling for his death because of a song that he wrote about the oppression of women, sexism and human rights abuses in his homeland. In 2005, he fled Iran and is now exiled in Germany, and this documentary follows him and takes a look at how the rise of refugees and also the rise of nationalism around the world is making his life even now more complicated. When God Sleeps screens on Wednesday the 13th of June, and it is my pick of the week, so enjoy. Stay warm, see you next week.